How's it going, everybody? This is Cameron White with White Light Astrology. Just here to talk to you guys more about who I am, what White Light is. What does the future have in store? What are we, why am I doing all this? I just want you guys to get to know me a little bit better. I've been doing these videos for almost a year now. Surprisingly, I started White Light Astrology in November, December of 2016, and I did my first video in January, so I'm almost coming up on a year now, and I haven't actually done, like a video about myself. You guys just kind of been watching, so I really wanted to just, tell you guys a little bit more about me, what my background is, why I even decided to do this, what is White Light, why I came up with all this. So, well, I'm 21. I live here in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm from California. I'm from a small town in Southern California. I was born and raised really Christian, actually. My mom was a very devoted Christian. Grew up in a really nice middle class life. Pretty average, honestly. However, was going through the church. I tried to do the church thing my whole life. That's what got introduced to me. My dad wasn't really the most religious person, so it was kind of like, and my parents were divorced, so it was kind of like this, what's this split energy? I don't understand, one person's this way, the other person's this way. So it always kind of made me question things a lot. I'm also a Libra moon, if that helps you guys at all. However, I was doing the Christianity thing. It was, cool. I went to, kids camps and all of that kind of stuff. And I tried to believe it. I really did, with all my heart. However, there was a lot of things about the church that really made me uncomfortable. It was very hard for me to feel in touch with the God that everyone talked about. And I knew that there was a connection to higher source. I always knew that there was something. There's no way all of this stuff can happen in our life without some sort of a higher intelligence. Life was just, in my opinion, way too fascinating. Even though, I was only a kid, I only knew so much. It was just, the connection that they were making to God, I understood, but I couldn't understand their perspective of it. And there's a lot of rules. I never felt fit in, and the church also has, and this is nothing against like everybody's church. I respect everybody's religious beliefs. I believe everyone should have some sort of a spiritual religious belief. However, just the way that the church was set up, I wasn't comfortable there. I really wasn't. I didn't feel opened. I felt forced. I felt really like it was like I had to believe in God. And so when I got into about my high school years, I was really just rebellious against anything. My mom ended up marrying my best friend's dad, so it was kind of a cool aspect there for a while. However, the split family thing brought a lot of tension in our home, and that's when I started, really just being rebellious in life in general. I'm a Uranus ruled person, so I'm always just trying to go against the grain and all that kind of stuff. And as I kind of grew up, as I went through high school, I went through all this stuff. I had this open, I had this open-mindedness about what else is out there. I didn't know what else to believe. I knew that there was, I looked up conspiracy theories. I watched Zeitgeist. I did all that stuff, and I knew that there was something, but I just couldn't attach anything. So I went through a really, really, really hard time. I had a big group of friends. I was going through a rough time at school. I was, I was partying a lot in the negative way, the binging, the self-sabotaging way, the non-healthy way. And I had a lot of friends at the time, and I think it was when Saturn went into Scorpio, actually, or Saturn went out of Libra when it went over my moon and went into Scorpio. And, I lost all my friends. I didn't really have anybody. I got into a lot of trouble with my parents, and I ended up going to a psych ward. And after that was my first experience with the psych ward. However, I went to the psych ward, and it just kind of, just really just set a new intention for me. It was, I was at the point in my life where I didn't want to keep going on. I was very suicidal. I, didn't want to kill myself halfway all through high school. I was bullied a lot. I just had a lot of issues. And it was just a really big struggle for me. However, when I went to the psych ward, I kind of just made a declaration to myself that was like, I didn't kill myself. I'm not going to, because otherwise I would have done it by now. So I got to figure out a way to be happy. And I ended up meeting some kid down my street. And I just always went over to his house, and his family brought me in. They were really awesome when I was going through a really hard time with my family, so I was there all the time. And all we really did, it was like, we'd first, like smoke some weed, chit chat, and then it was like conspiracy theories, and then we'd start talking about aliens, and then we would start talking about the universe and mythology and all of these things. And over about a 2.5 year period, we studied just about every single belief system you could think about. We studied, Satanism, Hinduism, more about Christianity, learn even more about like Mormonism and all that stuff. We wanted to be as fully educated as possible. And that's when we stumbled into paganism and Wiccan energy, and we were really drawn into it. We were really called out by it. He said, he did tarot cards his whole life, and I was like, this is something that really energetically is, I'm guided towards. Like it's like the ground neutral for spirituality, in my opinion. It's like, I believe in source energy. I have all these things. But it gave me a label at a time where I didn't know how to define myself. And it was great. So we studied Wiccan and paganism for about just a little bit over a year. We did a dedication process, all that kind of stuff. And it was great. I did some spells. It was really cool, nothing crazy. I was just kind of like, yeah, I like this. I like tapping into this universal energy. Like, all my spells worked. It was all white. It was all, light magic and all that kind of stuff. And I just kind of got drawn out of it after a while. I ended up moving out when I was 17 before I graduated high school. And I was living with my sister at the time, and we went to, I didn't even remember what the story was. We were at some sort of party, and a girl comes up to me, and she's like, just to socialize, she's like, what's your sign? And I was like, oh, I'm a Cancer. And she was like, oh, like what day? And I was like, the 22nd of July. And she's like, oh, you're not a Cancer, you're a Cancer Leo cusp. And I was like what? Like, what is that? Like, I've never heard of that. And my whole life, I started getting into horoscopes around 6th, 7th, 8th grade, like middle school, kind of like, oh, this is interesting. And I always read Cancer because I'm born on July 22nd. It was like, I was like, a part of me really aligns with this, because at the time I was very insecure. I was very emotional. I had a lot of anger issues, and I've noticed a lot of it now stems from my Saturn and Aries. However, I just dealt with a lot of, difficulties expressing my emotions and feeling them. And once I grew up and kind of got out of that stuff, I wasn't really resonating with Cancer all that much. It was like, I kept feeling like a little bitch, like, honestly, just to put it in perspective. That's what a lot of horoscopes really talk about Cancer. And I didn't resonate with it. And this girl just goes, you're a Cancer Leo cusp. And I was like, I don't know what that is. And she's like, you got to look it up. So I looked it up, and of course, there's like nothing about cusps online, which is a good thing, because cusps aren't really technically a thing, which of course I later found out. However, I found my chart. I was blown away, and it was really frustrating that there was a piece of information about me through, the cosmos, through the stars, through the planets. There was a piece of information that they had for me that I couldn't interpret, that I couldn't read. And I have a Mars and Venus and Gemini. I'm very like, okay, well, I need to figure this out. I need to understand it, so I can express it, use it, all that kind of stuff. And it's in my 6th house of Virgo too. So I just started reading it, studying it, learning a lot more about the law of attraction at the same time, manifestation, all that kind of good stuff. And it just called out to me so much. Like, it was every single day. I was watching, YouTube videos. I was looking up every single website you could possibly think of. I was buying random books about astrology that I didn't even know. I just didn't even know. I just figured, this is a good place to start. And, started getting really into the YouTube videos of, like Kelly Rossano, the Leo King, super awesome guy who helped me actually get started with all this stuff. And, just basically went on from there. And I was just kind of practicing it on my own, just kind of learning more about it. And I went through that for about 3 or 4 years. And, then I took a personal development course. It was all about, basically reprogramming your subconscious. However, this first class I took was just awareness. I was at a time in my life where I was, like a coke addict, basically living in my apartment by myself. Really had nothing. I had 2 jobs, and my jobs were great, but I just felt called out to do so much more. I hated every single moment that I lived, because I was so thankful for everything that I had. I just got into my own place all by myself after, being on my own since 17. I finally got my first apartment. It was in a horrible part of town. And I loved my work. I was working for, I was basically doing raves. It was like I'd work all night long and basically just go to a rave for work and do stuff around there. And it was awesome, but I was like, there's something so much more inside of me that I'm not expressing. I've always had dreams, really, really big dreams of, changing the world, of influencing people, of having a lot of money and all of this kind of stuff. And I just wasn't living it, so I was really depressed. And so I took this class, and it just brought a lot of my own personal power to immediate awareness. And I had the opportunity to really decide if that was the way that I wanted to continue on living. So I quit both my jobs, and I broke up with my girlfriend at the time. I moved to Denver, where my sister was, I had really good support. She's like my best friend, and just kind of just winged it, did my own thing. I mean, I'm still practicing astrology and all that stuff. And then I did one of their advanced seminars. This advanced one was 90 days long, and it was all about setting goals. And through this goal setting thing, one of my goals was to actually go to a Leo King event here in Vegas. And it was really, really expensive. I didn't have a job at the time. I had no idea how to do. I don't even remember how I did it, to be honest with you, now that I'm thinking about it. However, I got the opportunity to just go for it, to actually do it. And so I went ahead and did it. I came here, I met him, I actually helped him set up and everything like that, and just had a really good time. I learned a lot, and when I came back, I was telling everyone about my time, my experience, what I learned, what I was expressing, what I was, and then after that, my team, it was a team of, 23 people that I played this game with. The game's called PLD, and it's 90 days of setting goals, accomplishing them, and you do it as a team. Well, I'm telling my team about all this astrology stuff, and, a couple weeks go by, I keep telling about it. It was like before every meeting, I would tell them about quick, what's going on in the universe real quick. I'm like, oh, Mercury's retrograde, or it's a new moon. Let's actually do some clear stuff or whatever. And it was like, I'm sitting here in front of the classroom, and I'm just, not the classroom, but just my team, and I'm telling everyone, I'm just spewing off shit for like 20 minutes. And one of the facilitators for it just looks at me, and she's like, what are you doing? And I was like, what? She's like, you're able to captivate a whole room with this astrology stuff, and you love it. You have such a passion for it. Like, why aren't you doing anything with it? And I was like, I don't know why I'm not doing anything with it. It's just, I never felt like that was my space, I guess. It didn't resonate with me. So she goes, how much does an astrologer make? You're talking about being broke. You feel like you have no job. Like, what should you do? And I was like, well, they do make really good money as far as I know. And they do a lot of things. And so I kind of just got challenged to do it. And it took me about 2 months to really decide if I was like, man, am I even going to do this? Like, do I want to? And it was like, the more and more I started looking more into astrology, the more and more I started thinking about what my life would be like just doing it. I was like, this is something I'm called to do. This is where I need to be. This is what I want to do. And it was so like November of last year, I think it was during the new moon in Sag, because it was like right next to my ascendant. I was really pumped, and I just went for it. So I started from there, just started doing astrology full time. I got a big influx of readings and all that kind of stuff, and then it was like then I was like, okay, I'm gonna start doing videos, and just been doing the videos consistently. And then it was like, for a second, I really wanted to give up right when Venus was still in retrograde. It was back in April. I was feeling like giving up. My videos were only getting like 50, 60 views, and then it was like I skipped a week. I was really depressed. I still didn't know what to do. I felt like I didn't have any energy or any control over anything. And then I got a haircut. I had a man bun, cut off all my hair. Venus went direct, and I did another video, and it got like over 1,000 views, and it just pumped me up. And then it was like, I'm sharing more on Twitter, I'm sharing more on Facebook, and I'm just getting more feedback. Like, people, I actually inspire people. I actually do something for, even if it was just one or two people. Like, now I got, a lot of people that come to me like, thank you for doing what you do. You inspired me a lot. I get to do things every single day, that I usually wouldn't do because of you. And it just means it means everything to me. I love that I have that type of energy contact with people, to where I influence them and inspire them to do crazy things. So I was like, dude, I got to keep doing this. I want to keep doing it more and more and more. And then, as I've been studying, as I've been understanding, it's just become a part of my life. And So when I started White Light Astrology, I was like, well, what do I want to call it? I wanted to put my name in there in some way possible, because I like taking ownership of things. I'm a Leo. And I came up with White Light because I was just starting to think. I was like, well, my last name's White. And, what is white light? So I looked up the definition. White light is all of the colors in the spectrum vibrating at their most intense rate. Like they're all vibrating or enhanced at the most intense, possible way, all together at the same time. And I was like, wow, that's like my whole MO for life. Is I want to feel, everything. I want people to experience everything, whether it is darkness or it is light or it is light or it is greatness or it's suffering, or we all need to experience everything in its extreme. I'm a very extreme person. You can see in all my videos, and that just resonated with me so much. It's like, I want to give people the feeling of all of the feelings coming together at all of its intensity, all of the colors of the spectrum coming together to form one color, one just pure energy. And it was like, one of those moments where we're like, oh shit, well duh, this is what it's gonna be. So I just went for it, and that was it. And so I'm here now, absolutely loving every single minute of what I do. I'd like to thank all you guys for watching my videos. You guys mean the whole world to me. Everything, I do this all, for you guys or whoever watches my videos or whatever. I just love, and I'm so thankful for being able to do this, for a living. So yeah, now I'd just like to talk about what's the future, what am I getting into? This 2018, I'm going to be putting out a book. I have some bigger plans in store later to 2018, but I don't want to talk about those yet. However, I do plan on releasing a book, more about talking about just the overall objective, subjective reality and how astrology kind of has a really big influence on that, and how we have the influence on astrology. And I think that's just, to me, the most interesting aspect of astrology, is the fact that it's this objective truth that there's planets, that they're moving, that they make alignments, and its subjective point of view as well as its objective influence on people. And that's why I do these weekly videos, because I think it's so crazy that we have these planets that move around in a circle basically, and they affect the whole collective consciousness, but they all affect it in a different way. It's the same way as, two people walk into a movie, one person hates it, the other person loves it. And that's just the craziest part to me. So I'm going to be doing a book about that. I actually just today, now that Jupiter's in Scorpio, I bought my website. I'm getting it all set up. I have a lot of cooler things coming up. You're going to be able to have a lot more freedom and options when it comes to how you can practice astrology, how you can empower yourself, how you can put more of what you want into your life more constantly, how you can embody your universal energy inside of you. So I have a lot of new things coming onto my website that no one's done before. I also have another really big release I'm going to be doing here. My goal is to get it before Christmas. However, I'm going to be doing something that no one's ever done before, so keep that in mind. It's going to be really, really crazy. And yeah, that's basically what I got. I got a couple other things. However, I'm going to be starting a website. I am going to be doing a vlog soon. The vlog is basically just going to be about me and my life, and just going about to people and friends, and just honestly just experiencing life through my point of view. I think I do live a really interesting life. I really have in my opinion, one of the best lives, just because of my perspective on it, just because what I've been able to create, and I want to share that with people. I want to inspire people in more and more ways. However, that's what I got going on. So this whole video was basically just, you guys just getting to know me, just know who I am, what have I been through, what are my intentions, more about me. So I'm here in my new apartment. Since I just moved back to Vegas, everything's finally cleaned in. This will eventually have some cool art on there. I don't have anything hung up yet. Well, I actually have a boat picture hung up right there, but nothing yet. So I'm working on that still, but that's just what I got for you guys. I really, thank you for taking the time out to watch this video, getting to know me. I super appreciate it. Feel free to subscribe, follow, like, comment, share. If you guys want to share your stories of, how you got into astrology, or if you can relate to mine anyway, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. If you guys don't already, please follow me on Twitter or Facebook, or if this is your first video, please subscribe to me on YouTube. I do weekly videos. I am going to be doing more videos. However, I'm not I don't want to do like monthly sun sign ones. I don't think that's effective, because then it's just like, for me, I'm like, when someone's like, well, what does it mean for, like Gemini? I'm like, well, just give me your whole chart so I can just do that. It's so much easier just to give someone a specific, valuable reading. However, I am coming up with a lot of creative ways to get you guys information that's more based towards you and that you can use effectively. So that's one of my main goals. That's all I'm really focusing on. So these next couple months, you're going to start seeing a lot more stuff from me, a lot more content, a lot more videos, a lot more of me up in your face. So again, I want to thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this, and I will be seeing you, what's today? Today's Thursday. So I'll probably be recording my video Saturday, Sunday, and I'll be seeing you Sunday night for your weekly video of what the heck is going on in the universe. Thanks, guys.